Hello and welcome to the show. I am back on a BeamNG Drive with 3 more cars taking on our Pine Hills Rally stage. We start today with the Toyota Celica. This is an incredibly old mod for the game. Amazingly, still works. Unfortunately, the sounds are a bit bugged, as with almost every mod at the moment. So, yeah, the car engine will be very, very quiet. However, the rest of the mod, yeah, still works really rather well, which is great to see. I think this was probably one of the first mods I ever played around with on this game. So, the sport version of the car is going to take on our rally stage. Doesn't have slick tyres and doesn't have all-wheel drive and crazy amounts of downforce. Probably not going to be challenging the V6R4 Covert or the Hill Climb Sunburst. However, might still be a pretty decent car. Its suspension is relatively soft, which is good news for the vehicle in terms of dealing with the bumps. In fact, the brakes are quite damn powerful as well. I've got everything wrong on my own there. Whoa! Got everything wrong on my own. There's a lot more grip in this than I was expecting from the Celica. There is a surprisingly large amount of grip in this car. It is pretty damn fast in a straight line as well, up to 76 miles an hour. I can't get that turned. I think we're gonna lose the back end somehow. Down the Meek Peak, it's all got a little bit of right. Okay, well, we nearly rolled it twice, and we've ended up bouncing our way down the Meek Peak. It would be a very scruffy run anyway, but tell you what, I am rather impressed with this car so far. Proving more difficult to roll than I expected, and it's still got way too much grip into there. Uh-oh. That's going to be some trees. That's going to be game over for the Toyota. Oh, we've got bent steering, though. That's not going to go well up towards the Meek Peak. I'm not sure I can really do much here. There's no... Oh! Ow. Ow, indeed. That was a nasty place to crunch the front of the car. Have we got... basically, it does still drop. Well, I'd say it kind of still drives. It's not a happy sight. Oh, rear suspension has taken a slight... Oh, crap, rear suspension has taken a slight break, and we've lost steering. Ugh. Yeah, well, that rear suspension goes... I think it was just the rear. I don't know what damage you might have done to the front. Something went skew-if, and the car was pulling around all over the place. So we've got to watch out for that one. Get it stopped for the pit stop chicane. We can do. Oh, no. Ugh. The bumps at the Meek Peak breaking the suspension make the car real difficult to drive. I'm not sure which bit broke. It might be that rear left again. It's kind of I think it gets some sort of toe in, toe out or whatever on those rear wheels that's causing it problems down there. I think we're going to have to unfortunately be very careful and very slow. Well, so far we are finding interesting issues with the Celica. Suspension is causing problems across some of these harsh bumps. While it is relatively soft to absorb the bumps, I can carry speed across it no problem. It also tends to snap important bits that make the car very difficult to drive. So we're going to have to be very mindful of that. It is nice being able to really throw the car around the course here, carry really good speed through these hairpins, although, as ever, you've got to be careful not to get a little too carried away. It's something that is very easy to do. We've got some oversteer coming up towards the Meek Peak now. Just carefully does it down here. It's his secondary bump as well. I've got to be patient across. We seem okay. We're tracking straight as we head on to the Maple Bridge. Early on the brakes for the pit stop chicane. Everything going well so far. On the exit, we should be good. Now, there's another bump here, although if we do break the wheels, we'll probably be okay to claw our way up the up destroyer towards the final corner. We go. Oh, the rear of the car get very unhappy across there. We will fly it across the line for the Celica. The rear of the car incredibly soft, and yeah, it was. I'm not sure we had the rear wheels on the ground through a lot of those corners. It made it quite difficult to turn into the very final part. I just didn't want to find any grip. It's such a brutal slope that the cars go up there. That yeah, perhaps not unsurprising. Cars having issues. Impressive amount of grip in the Celica with the rear suspension. Not quite up to the task in places. In fact, you can kind of see Oh no, maybe that's just the rock that it was sitting on. I thought I might snap something going across that jump towards Destroyer. Maybe not. Maybe it did survive okay and all of that. But yeah, decent amount of grip. Just got to watch for breaking important bits in the rear suspension. Up next, we have got the Bolide Corsa, though not the racing version. You see, the race car had some huge issues with the turbo lag. It was almost undrivable. This version has still got twin turbos. I am hoping, though, it might not be as bad. I'm hoping the power will be more usable here. We'll have to wait and see how things go in the Corsa. We are off the line relatively well. It seems a more promising start. We'll see how it goes when we get into the twisty bit. Yeah, it's better in terms of the power band. And that was still in second gear. Oh god, the understeer. Doesn't quite get turned in oddly. Doesn't get turned in as well. Oh god, I think the Celica spoils us slightly. Ooh, that was a snappy oversteering moment. Bugger me. That is what the turbos can do if you're a little bit unprepared. It is considerably better in this car, but if you suddenly hit that boost on the exit of a 20-mile-an-hour hairpin, then you go round in a circle. I mean, it's rare that a car fails this run completely undamaged. Might even be a first. I don't know. Still struggling with understeer on the exit. Don't drive it like the Celica, because the Celica is magic, apparently. Oh no! I got a twitch. Oh, big twitch. Oh, that's going to be a poorly supercar. I'm sorry. Got things wrong. Again, trying to get on that power. It isn't going to be a quick car, certainly in terms of straight line speed. It will be very, very fast. However, little bit too much bravery from me. And, yeah, we are, we are well off the course. This will go very, very quick. We just can't get the power down. The Meek Peak is going to bounce us around. Trying to save it, trying to save it, trying to save it. It's not going to work. And we are done. God, bloody bums. Again, I managed to have the car in pristine condition despite the bumble our way across the grass with a low-speed spin. Funnily enough, race car and severe bumps, not such a good combination. This is where it might just, it's not quite as bad as the race version, might just struggle. Oh no, we've spun before the light. Well, I mean, we've kind of, okay, that's a new one. Oh, yeah, still not a big fan up here. Well, I think we're going to have to go again, because I don't actually think I ever crossed the line in that particular spin. That is a new one. Bloody turbo twitchy car. Very, very careful throttle control is going to be needed there. Because elsewhere, it's not a problem. Elsewhere, we're okay. Although, that's going to be a big off at Meek Peak. Too much speed. Ah, bugger. Far too fast heading down there, and we're going to go for a tumble. I mean, I think the car is actually a very, very strong vehicle here. It's going to lose probably the back end, kind of the custom back end bit. I might have bent the door a little bit in recovering it. It'll probably still drive. Yeah, it's perfectly fine to drive. Yeah, it's a blooming strong sort of chassis and bodywork on this to keep it all together in these crashes. That's not really what we wanted to be doing, though, is it? So, the Bolide that we have here, considerably better to drive than the racing version. The turbos are just much easier to manage, and on most of the course, while it can be a little bit savage, with a bit of throttle control, things tend to go okay. Got to be careful with that final climb. That's where we're going to have problems, because I need the vehicle high in the rev range to get some form of boost to drag it up the very, very steep hill that it suddenly faces. Like, even out of these slower hairpins down here, it's okay, because it's not suddenly climbing a really steep hill. But in having it higher in the rev range, we get a lot of wheel spin, and that's not what you want at all. That's better through the Meek Peak. We're going to be careful down here, because I know what the bumps are going to do to a race car such as this. Onto the Maypole Bridge we go. Oh, little bit of a lock-up from the brakes. Might still be able to recover this one. Indeed we can. Through the pit stop chicane we go. Oh, there goes the turbos just kicking in on the exit now. Destroyer. Oh, no. I needed to keep it a little bit more. Need to keep it a little bit faster. However, we are up around the final corner. This time we're not going to spin it. It's across the line into a tree on our side. It was, yeah, a little bit uncomfortable. I mean, it was better. I definitely think it was better than the, ooh, oh dear, than the race spec of this car. It doesn't like being out in the dirt, funnily enough. There is, oh, that's far too low, far too stiff to get out of that section. It's better up the hill. I think it holds a little bit better speed, but it's still not great there. We've done a really weird redesign job with that tumble into a tree with the now squished up roofline. The understeer is almost as big a problem as the turbos, though, with this car. It just can't carry the speed through some of the technical sections, and then, of course, trying to deal with that power takes a fair amount of throttle discipline. However, I would expect this to be faster than the race spec that went through this course. Our final vehicle today is, well, started life as a Legrand hearse. However, there was a spec for it as the Ghostbusters machine. So, naturally, that is the one that we are going to take down the course. It does have a fairly powerful V6 in this, but it also has quite skinny road tyres on it. I'm not sure it's going to be the easiest to drive or nicest handling vehicles down here. However, it is fully equipped to deal with ghosts. So if we come across any of those, we will be perfectly okay to take them out. It's also got a crappy automatic gearbox. I can't do much about, but well, we'll just go with it. It's very, very bouncy. I've immediately noticed it is a very bouncy car. Yeah, this feels like it's got more turn in. The Corsa just did not have much grip from the front tyres for whatever reason. But there we go. Whoa! That was an unexpected turn of events. I think maybe all of the machinery on the roof is quite heavy. That's something new to be prepared for. The Meek Peak is going to be oh god, the rear end was bouncing around. We're going to bounce off that, aren't we? Yeah. It was bouncing on the way down, and I just couldn't, as it was sort of toppling around, I couldn't get the car away from that secondary bump. And sure enough, that soft suspension, while relatively good to deal with the early stuff that the course has to throw at it, the Meek Peak can cause problems. And when it's as top heavy as this, those problems are probably going to send you off the course or rolling over. Well, so far things have not been going amazingly to plan, with a tendency to fall over and bounce around. However, there's some promise. There is some promise with this vehicle. That's, oh, I thought that was going to be too much speed through Snake Pit. It is very, very bouncy, this car. All of that weight on the top is, I don't think, helping Matt. I mean, it's a relatively softly sprung car to begin with, but all of that weight at the top is not going to help matters. The centre of mass being so high will not make for a great handling vehicle on already soft suspension. I guess the saving grace of all of this is that it's not very fast to begin with. Oh, I actually stuck it up into a slightly wonky gear. That's my bad for all of that. It's just kind of instincts trying to deal with cars and gears and so on. But we have made it down okay. Onto the bridge we go. Oh, lost the hubcaps. Oh no. Not the all-important hubcaps. They have gone for a flight and around the pit stop chicane. We are okay through there. Not very good on the exit, but never mind. Oh, bugger me. It's just going to bounce its way around. Up the hill we go. Come on. Come on. Find some speed. Find some speed. There we go. It has got a little bit more traction. It's going to be across the line very, very slowly. I mean, let's put into perspective a little bit the Bolide. That got through the first part of that sort of final climb a little bit better than the giant the giant Ghostbuster machine, which is, yeah, something. Even the turbo lag on that car didn't make it slower than, well, a rather heavy bouncy car. So yeah, the Bolide could have been worse. They both kind of made the climb fairly similar rates, sort of halfway through it, with the Bolide getting a better run across the line. So yeah, maybe the turbo lag in that car wasn't too bad. This thing is heavy and bouncy, and that's not great news for the course. In fact, I could probably, shall we try if we can roll it over in reverse, because there's a nice big hill here to send the car down. I bet if we just go up to about 40 miles an hour and turn. Oh, I didn't want to go over. Damn it, that's disappointing. Yeah, not the easiest thing to drive down here, but relatively slow, so you can kind of just about get away with it. So, on to our leaderboard. It would be the Celica that would go the fastest of the day, up in 16th place, 1 minute 6.5 for the Toyota. It beats the Evo 9, beats the Grand Marshal, the Covert Rally Car. Can't quite beat the Miramar Z Coupe or the I-Series Rally Car, but the speed to have gone that quick is, yeah, very, very good going indeed. Now, interestingly, the Bolide Corsa road car that I had did go slower than the race car. While I think the turbo's much better in the road version, its crippling understeer meant that it couldn't deal with the corners well enough. It just didn't have enough grip to get through the very, very technical hairpins, hence why its time is slow. It's only by a little bit, but there we go. Not quite the result that I expected. We have to go a fair bit further down to find the Ghostbusters Legrand. It is in 34th place, a 118.4. It isn't last, though. Despite it not being a particularly fast vehicle and its tendency to fall over, it does beat the Blue Collar. It's a couple of seconds down on the Regency Limo and the Fiat 1. But yeah, it's not the slowest vehicle to go down the course. It might have had the most bizarre roll of all time, but not the slowest. That, though, is going to be it for this video. As ever, I shall link all the mods used in the description, so you can download them, have a go with them yourself. But thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.